What if you could invest in this without ever touching it? A Bitcoin ETF works just like this. They take real Bitcoin, like this, and secure it for you inside the ETF, making it easy to invest without the stress. But there's a lot more to know before you dive in, so let me show you. And if you're finding this guide helpful, hit that subscribe button so you don't miss out on more easy to follow guides. So there are two types of Bitcoin ETFs. You have the spot ETF and you have the futures ETF. A spot ETF holds Bitcoin, like this one inside the box. It directly tracks the Bitcoin price, making it the purest form of Bitcoin investment. Futures ETFs, on the other hand, trade futures contracts. Essentially, they're trading paper back and forth. And for that reason, they don't always match up with the Bitcoin price. That's because if we look inside the box, well, right. They don't buy any real Bitcoin. They're just trading paper. And we saw that with the Grayscale ETF, where price deviated from the underlying asset. So why not buy Bitcoin directly? And it's a great question. It comes down to two main reasons. The first being simplicity. With a Bitcoin ETF, you avoid all the headaches with managing wallets and dealing with private seeds. Oh my gosh, did I forget my password? All of that's taken care of because it's just sitting in your brokerage account. The second reason being accessibility. So because Bitcoin ETFs trade on the regular stock exchange, you're able to easily log into your brokerage account and simply add them to your existing portfolios, whether that's your health and savings account, 401k, retirement, pensions. All of those are now available with Bitcoin ETFs. And here's the exciting part. Even a small allocation to a Bitcoin ETF can increase your overall portfolio's performance dramatically. So let's take a look at this chart. It shows two portfolios, one with 100% invested in the S&P 500 represented by the ETF VOO, and another with 99% invested in the S&P 500 and just a 1% allocation to Bitcoin. You can see how that tiny allocation in Bitcoin made a significant boost in the portfolio's performance. If we look at the two portfolios' performance over a 10-year period, you'll notice that that 1% allocation ended up resulting in an extra $5,000 worth of appreciation in the overall portfolio's performance, with the Bitcoin portfolio ending in 40,500 versus the S&P 500 only having 35,000. Now, even a small allocation can have a huge difference. You can think of it like seasoning in a recipe. You only need a little bit to make a big difference. And the potential doesn't stop there. With world governments talking about potentially adding this as a strategic reserve asset, the demand for Bitcoin could grow exponentially into the future. That means ETFs like these could play an even bigger role in boosting your retirement. So how do you choose the right Bitcoin ETF? Because not all Bitcoin ETFs are created equal. So here are three things that I want you to look out for. First one's going to be the expense ratio. This is what we talked about just a minute ago. This is essentially the annual fee that the ETF charges. The lower is the better because otherwise it's just going to eat into your profit. And I highly recommend you stay away from the Grayscale ETF. The reason being they charge exorbitant fees because they have experience with Bitcoin ETFs. But let's call a spade, they're really just being greedy because you don't need a lot of experience just to put Bitcoin in a hardware wallet and never connected to the internet. Next up, you're going to look for liquidity. Look for an ETF that has high trading volume because it's easier to get in and out of. And the next most important thing I want you to look for is the type of ETF. Decide whether you want a spot ETF, meaning that the ETF holds the underlying asset, or you want a futures ETF, if you're comfortable with a little bit of extra added risk. But personally, I don't see the upside in a futures ETF for Bitcoin. The reason being is that you have all this extra added risk and it's not like you're getting a lot of extra upside with it. So why would I take the extra risk if I don't have to? A few great examples would be like the IBIT, that's the BlackRock ETF, or Fidelity. Fidelity actually self-custodies all of their own crypto. You simply can't go wrong with these giants in the industry. Now, something that's noteworthy is that when you look at the Bitcoin ETFs, you might notice that one has a different price from another. But don't worry, this doesn't mean that one ETF is better than the other one. It all comes down to how many shares the fund has created. The price of each share reflects the amount of Bitcoin that it represents. Whether you're buying one share for $20 or one share for $200, it doesn't really matter because they both represent that amount of Bitcoin. If you have a $20 share, that means that you have $20 worth of Bitcoin. If it's a $200 share for an ETF, it's $200 worth of Bitcoin. So the share price doesn't matter. It's the Bitcoin inside that actually matters. Just focus on the fund's overall quality. So is it with a giant in the industry like Fidelity or BlackRock? What are the fees like? Are they gouging you on the fees? Focus on those things. Those are what's actually important. So when is the best time to start buying into a Bitcoin ETF? And the truth is, right now. You'll find that whenever you invest in ETFs, the best approach is to dollar cost average whenever you can. If you choose to make an allocation every paycheck comes in on Wednesday, you make a small allocation to your retirement fund, you allocate a little bit more to Bitcoin, and so on and so forth. You slowly ladder into your position, and then you hold it for 10, 20, 30 years, however long you have until you retire. Some things to consider are, how long are you looking at? Do you have a 2-year period until you retire, or do you have a 20, 30 year? If you're younger, you can take on more risk, and therefore if you have a lump sum that you want to allocate, you can handle the price swings a lot easier than someone who's about to go into retirement. So that's important to consider as well. So one of the best things about Bitcoin ETFs is that they're safer for beginners. When you hold Bitcoin directly, you are responsible for everything. You're responsible for keeping up with your private seed. You're responsible for hackers. You're responsible for interacting with malicious websites on the internet. So let me show you how risky direct ownership can actually be. Not that long ago, my dad ended up falling victim to a Bitcoin scam. Unfortunately, he had his funds in his Bitcoin wallet, the MetaMask, and he logged on to, or he thought he was interacting with a legitimate website, but it turned out to be a clone of that website. So thinking that he's sending Bitcoin to the place he wanted to, being inexperienced with this type of thing, they ended up draining like $800 worth of Bitcoin from his account. So it can be incredibly risky if you're unfamiliar with the crypto universe. That's why Bitcoin ETFs can be such a game changer, because they take all the responsibility off your plate. The fund handles all the storing and securing of the Bitcoin, so all you have to worry about is growing your overall portfolio. Now let's address some myths that I hear all the time about Bitcoin ETFs. Myth number 1, ETFs are just as risky as holding Bitcoin. The reality is ETFs remove a lot of the risk. You don't have to worry about losing your private keys or navigating unregulated exchanges or dealing with hackers, any of that. Myth number 2, spot ETFs are too expensive to start with. The reality is most Bitcoin ETFs allow you to invest in small amounts, just like buying any other stock. You can buy $20 worth of it, and it's not a problem at all. Myth number 3, Bitcoin ETFs are unnecessary if you can just buy it directly. The reality is that might work for some people, but not everybody. Not everybody is tech savvy. Your grandmother, if she wants to add some to her retirement account, she's not going to sit there and deal with passwords and private seeds and all the complexities that come along with Bitcoin ownership. But the ETFs make everything very streamlined and easy for a whole new user base to start investing. So let's talk about some key industry updates. So here's why now might be the perfect time to start considering adding Bitcoin to your portfolio. Big names like BlackRock and Fidelity are starting to enter the game, and governments around the world are starting to recognize Bitcoin as a legitimate asset, and they're considering adding it to their treasuries as a strategic reserve asset. So when you see major policymakers and institutions, governments around the world diving in, it's a sign that Bitcoin's here to stay, and that the ETFs could be your easiest on-ramp, because there is a world of wealth out there that is going to allocate into Bitcoin. So we are still extremely early. There are sovereign wealth funds that have been sitting on the sidelines just waiting for regulatory clarity, and that's what the Bitcoin ETFs give us. But they can't all flood into the market at once, because the price would just have a god candle going all the way to the moon. It's going to take time over many years for them to slowly, like we talked about, slowly ladder in, slowly buy into their position. So let's quickly go over some of the pros and cons of the Bitcoin ETFs. So the pros are going to be, you have institutional adoption and regulatory clarity, meaning we're likely to see anywhere from 1 to 5% of professional portfolios allocating to Bitcoin. This includes things like 401ks, pension funds, IRAs, HSAs, and this would result in the price appreciating like we've never seen before, because you have so much money trying to flow into them. Another pro is that it's easy. It's never been easier for you to add Bitcoin to your retirement portfolio and boost your retirement's growth. You simply log into your brokerage account, type in IBIT, ticker symbol, for example, and click buy. As opposed to before, you had to sit there and manage your private keys, manage your wallet, etc. Next up, we have market stability. It's more likely the extreme downswings that we've seen are going to be less severe, and that's because we have so much money sitting on the sidelines waiting for a buying opportunity. So I would be very surprised if we ever see a 90% drop in the Bitcoin price ever again, because so many whales, so many large institutions, pension fund managers are just sitting on the sidelines waiting for that opportunity. So some of the cons are going to be counterparty risk. So what that means is that if you buy the BlackRock Bitcoin ETF, BlackRock is going to have Coinbase custody those Bitcoin for them in a vault. Now, what that potentially opens up the door of is if there is some sort of a hack or something with Coinbase, those funds could still be stolen. But Coinbase is extremely reputable and they're scrutinized heavily by regulators, so it's really unlikely for something like that to happen. Another con would be management fees. So each of these ETFs is going to have a different fee for managing the ETF. As always, the lower the fee that you can pay, the better, because it's just going to eat into your profits. Another con is going to be that, like I said before, with the counterparty risk is not your coins, not your crypto. You don't actually own the physical Bitcoin in the sense that you can't send it to anybody for payments. It's just sitting there and you are essentially just accruing value from its appreciation. So if this video helps you understand Bitcoin ETFs just a little bit better, let me know by hitting that like button. And if you're ready to dive deeper into investing topics like this, subscribe to my channel. I promise there's a lot more great content coming to you.